Okay, last video here. So now I'm going to show you an entire outline. This one is based on that sample paper about children working in agriculture. And I want to point out, probably for the 5 millionth time, that this one is formatted with multiple smaller counter arguments. So if your paper is going to be having just a single major counter argument, it's going to be formatted a little bit differently. And you're going to treat that major counter argument as its own body paragraph. And it would be like the last area of focus before your conclusion. Okay, so here we go. Moment of truth, the sample outline. We can click on this link and go take a look at it, and we can scroll through and talk about it. So when I get into this lovely thing, you'll notice that what we've done is we've called it AOI paper outline, and then because the introduction is already written, we don't need to spend a lot of time giving tons of detail in here. I'm not asking you to do that. But what you do want to do is just indicate what each paragraph for the introduction is focusing on, and you want to specify your research question, keep it in bold, and then address those areas of focus. Because if these areas of focus up in the intro section don't match the ones indicated in the outline that follows, then we know we've got a problem and we need to go back and sort of rephrase things. Just scrolling through, we see we've got that Roman numeral 2 for that first area of focus, all beautifully laid out. The counter argument to that area of focus is coming next. Area of focus, counter argument to that, and then the conclusion that they're giving. I do want to point out something about counter arguments, and let's use this 1-2 area of focus 2 as an example. So when you're dealing with your counter argument, you want to be specific on what that counter argument is in general. In part 5, you don't want to just say, counter argument, area of focus 2. You would want to say what that counter is. And then you would want to have at least 2 sections within that counter argument. The first sort of laying out the evidence that's countering the thesis of your paper, right? So here we're talking about that little story about the girls who were working to help their family and support them financially. And then you would want to make sure that you've got a section, which should be the last one, right, of that counter argument that's talking about how you're going to refute the counter argument. Because if you introduce a counter argument in the AOI, but you don't successfully refute it or disprove it or counter it in some way, then you're really going to end up losing some points because, generally speaking, you'll have weakened your own argument. So make sure when you indicate that counter argument that you're also refuting it. And this would be my time to remind you that if you're only addressing a single counter argument, you probably want to incorporate a source into the place where you're refuting the counter argument. Okay, and for our friends from other countries, refuting, fancy way of saying pushing back on or disproving. It's kind of a strange word. All right, so that would be your sample outline. All right, guys, you had a lot of steps to walk through there, but ultimately, I hope you'll see that if you can come up with an outline that is this specific, turning these little points into full sentences is going to yield you a successful paper. If you have any questions, be sure to reach out and ask me. And remember to make sure that you schedule an individual appointment with me so that we can meet and discuss your paper online. Thanks so much. Good luck.